Once upon a time, in the heart of the ancient kingdom of Vaikuntapur, there lived a wise and beloved king named Raja Arvind. His people admired him deeply, and his palace was filled with scholars, warriors, and ministers, each more brilliant than the last. But among them all, one man stood out, Minister Satyajit, sharp, eloquent, and perhaps a little too proud. One day, after settling a land dispute with flawless logic, he turned to the king and boldly declared, there was no puzzle he could not solve. No one in the kingdom could match his mind. The court fell silent. Some admired his confidence. Others winced at his pride. Far away from the marble halls of the palace, in a quiet village by the river, lived a young man named Veer. He wore no jewels, he held no title, but everyone in his village knew if something was broken, Veer could fix it. If a quarrel began, Veer could solve it. They would often say, that boy has the wisdom of 100 books. One morning, as birds sang and villagers went about their day, a royal horse galloped into the village square. The king's own messenger dismounted and handed Veer a scroll sealed with the royal emblem. He was summoned to the palace. A challenge awaited. The village fell silent, but Veer simply nodded, thanked the messenger, and set off on foot, calm as ever. The palace was packed that day. Nobles, villagers, curious eyes from every corner of the kingdom. At the center of the great hall stood two identical golden boxes, polished, mysterious, still. The king stood and addressed the court. Minister Satyajit believes he is the wisest among us. Today we put that belief to the test. Satyajit stepped forward, chin raised, a faint smirk on his lips. In one of these boxes lies gold, he said. In the other, nothing. Only I know which is which. I will tell Veer which one holds the treasure, but I may lie or I may speak the truth. Veer's task was simple. Choose the box with the gold. Veer walked slowly to the boxes. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He simply looked at both and asked one question. Which box has the gold? Without hesitation, Satyajit replied, the right box. Veer closed his eyes for a moment, then pointed calmly to the left box. Gasps rippled through the hall. The king leaned forward. You choose the left? Even though the minister said the gold is in the right? Veer nodded slowly. If the minister is telling the truth, then the gold is in the right box. But he knows that I know. He might lie. So if he tells the truth, he expects me to think he's lying and choose the left. But if he's lying and the gold is actually in the left, his statement still leads me to the correct answer. In both cases, the answer he gives points me away from the truth. So the correct box is the left. The king raised a hand. A guard stepped forward and opened the left box. Inside lay shimmering gold coins. The court erupted in the stunned applause. Some mouths hung open, others simply bowed in respect. And Minister Satyajit lowered his head. For the first time in years, he had no words. The king smiled, his eyes twinkled. Wisdom, he said, does not always wear silk. Sometimes it walks barefoot through the fields. Veer returned to his village. No parades, no titles, just a quiet joy. He continued fixing broken carts, teaching children beneath the banyan tree, and solving the small puzzles of everyday life. From that day on, when people spoke of cleverness or pride, they remembered a villager who outwitted a minister with nothing but calm thinking and a heart that sought only truth. Because true wisdom isn't about knowing all the answers. It's about asking the right questions. Today, our world is full of noise, so many opinions, so many problems, and often the loudest voices are the ones people notice most. But this story teaches us something important. Real intelligence doesn't always stand in the spotlight. It doesn't wear a title. It doesn't need applause. It's quiet, thoughtful, and chooses wisely when the time is right. Like Veer, we all face small puzzles every day. Not golden boxes, but questions like who to trust, what to believe, and what's the right thing to do. In those moments, being proud won't help. Rushing won't help either. What helps is being calm, clear, and brave enough to think for yourself. The minister had knowledge, but Veer had wisdom. Because wisdom isn't just knowing things, it's knowing how to use what you know. It's not about being the smartest, it's about seeing clearly and staying steady when things get confusing. So next time you face a hard choice, or someone loud tries to push you, take a deep breath, think slowly, and remember the simple villager who beat a proud minister, not with power, but with calm thinking and one smart question. Because in the end, it's not the loudest voice that wins, it's the one that sees the truth and chooses with wisdom.